All right, I'm not gonna lie. This morning on Blue Sky, I was momming folks a little bit. I was using my disappointed voice. I'm really, really fed up with doomerism over and over again. And no hate to my mutuals, because it's some of my mutuals that are doing this too. It is privileged white men who make doomer content where they say that it's all over. America is a fascist state now. Welcome to the apocalypse. We're cooked, things like that. And I alternate between trying to encourage folks to understand that when you have a doomer mentality, all you are doing is aiding the Trump regime. When you believe that all hope is lost, all you are doing is believing the propaganda of the Trump regime, and you are obeying in advance. You are giving up your rights, your power, your future to Donald Trump in advance. That there really is no place for doomerism in the resistance, and that it is interesting to me that it is consistently, time and time again, the most privileged amongst us who hold that position. Those who will be least negatively impacted if this regime rolls through are the ones who are the quickest to give up. And I get frustrated because if you have a massive social media platform with 100,000, 200,000, 800,000 followers, you have no fucking business telling people that all hope is lost. You have an obligation to your followers. You have an obligation to democracy. You have the privilege of having a large platform. And if you are feeling despondent, if you are in the depths of despair because you are letting the Trump propaganda work on you, then do not ask the internet to be your therapist. Get the fuck offline and call your real therapist. Go for a walk, touch grass. You do not get to put your feelings all over everybody, including the people who watch your content, read your posts on social media, and look to you for hope and encouragement and leadership. Whether we like it or not, if we have large platforms on social media, that means we have a responsibility, and people view us as leaders. They care about what we say. Our attitude, our perspective, like y'all, that influences people. That's why we're called influencers. I hate that term, but the reality is that the things we say influence people. I don't know. I'm talking to the white men who are my mutuals right now, and some of the ones that I follow, but don't follow me back. Like, I don't know about you, but I get people in my comments every single day who are like, Angela, you're the only thing giving me hope right now. Angela, like, I really depend on your content. Your content is keeping me going. I was in an absolute spiral. I was freaking out until I saw your video. Now, I could say that, like, the crushing weight of knowing that so many people rely on me that heavily, that could get to me. And I am not saying that I am immune from having those moments where I'm very stressed, I'm very anxious, and I'm freaking out. These are very scary, difficult times that we're living in. And I have many days when I wake up absolutely enraged that we could have had a future very different from this. And we could be living in a present where Kamala Harris is running this country and where things would have been marginally somewhat better than they were during the Biden years, and exponentially different than the hellscape that we're in now. Like, I'm angry about that a lot. I have a lot of anger. But I also get very overwhelmed. And there are times when I see so many headlines in a row. Like, I spend a lot of time reading through news stories and listening to experts, lawyers, and historians. And I can get very overwhelmed, especially if they have a very negative outlook. But then it is my responsibility as a whole ass adult to have emotion regulation and to take responsibility for my own feelings and not put them all over everybody else, and not to ask everybody else on the internet to manage my anxiety for me. So I'm very human. I have feelings like everybody else. This shit is really scary. But I don't personally feel that I have the luxury of marinating in doomer feelings, of wallowing. I don't have the luxury of wallowing right now. Both because I have an obligation not to spread negativity to other people, right? Fear is contagious as much as courage is contagious. In fact, the Trump regime relies on fear being contagious. They are hoping to spread that shit everywhere so that people are paralyzed and they give up. Right, so this is the post that really burned my biscuits this morning. So there is a sheriff in Florida who's doing what rural Floridian sheriffs do. Some old white dude who is feeling like he has some little tiny sphere of power and he's going to use it to play, tiny authoritarian. And he made a comment about shooting protesters. And in response to that, Anthony said, democracy just died in Florida. Thanks to Trumpism, we will have police states. Dystopia has arrived in America, folks, and it's here to stay. My blood pressure went through the roof reading this. This is bullshit, Anthony. I'm sorry, but this is bullshit. So of course I responded, I'm sorry, Anthony, I like a lot of your content, but this doomer shit ain't it. Dystopia is here to say is not only giving Trump and the fascists power that they don't have, you are ceding the future, our future, to a tyrant. Do better than this. Right? Like when you post this doomer shit, all you're doing is empowering Trump. You are furthering his agenda. Is that what you want to be doing right now at this moment in history? You want to be on the side of history that's like, all is lost, everybody give up hope. Do you want to go down in history as somebody who actively discouraged people from resisting fascism, who actively demoralized people, who gave aid to the Trump regime? Is that what you want to be doing right now? With your giant hundreds of thousands of followers, that's what you want to be communicating? Go take your dysregulated feelings, go take your anxiety, and call your fucking therapist. Right, so I got a little upset. I said I am really, really, really over it with the doomerism of white men with big accounts. We don't have the luxury of indulging apocalyptic fantasies. If you're ceding the future to the fascists and saying all hope is lost, get offline and go talk to your therapist. We need to get our head in the game and rally the people. And then because I don't want to just be screaming at people and be negative, and because I want to take this as an opportunity to help us learn to do better, right? And for me personally, right, this is how I feel. If you're watching what is happening in the US and you're not filled with a sense of hope, you're watching the wrong content. The propaganda is working on you. Stop giving away your power and stop indulging doomerism. Now is the time where the American people get to show the fascists who we are. This was in response to one of my followers saying, I have more hope now than ever. America is awake and we are fighting back. The regime is losing their asses in court. The lies are obvious. Their approval ratings are in the shitter. And the Marines aren't happy about this one little bit. Stay peaceful and relentless. We got this. And I went on to talk about how the one thing that's given me more hope for the future than anything else was joining Indivisible, working with other people in my community who care as much as I do, right? Or maybe even more than I do. Like, get offline is such good advice in general, but then take it a step further. Go connect with other people, reforge community. Isolation feeds despair and community builds our courage. I do think part of the reason that I see mostly 95+% of the time doomer content coming from white men is because they are by and large so isolated, because they have lost that connection to community. I don't know. I'm going to call it my privilege as a mother, but I don't have the luxury in engaging in that. But also, my life in reality is much more connected to other people. I understand that my actions, my perspective, my mood impact other people, and that I do, in fact, have an obligation to everybody else, right? It's not just about me as an individual. It's not just about my anxiety and my feelings. This is a collective movement. This is about community. This is about all of us as Americans working together, and the way that we interact with each other, the things we choose to share, the outlook we choose to share, that influences people, that impacts people. And what is our obligation to other people in the resistance? It sure as fuck is not to demoralize them. We are here to be encouragers of each other. We are here to empower each other, y'all. We're not blowing smoke up each other's asses, but we're not dragging each other down into the depths of despair either. We need to speak factually about what is happening, and we need to be countering the propaganda of the regime. I think if we are orienting our actions toward community, we are moving in the right direction. That this is not about self-indulgence. This is not really about our feelings at all. It's about accomplishing a goal of protecting the most vulnerable and restoring democracy in the United States. We don't have very much power as individuals, but we have massive power as a unit, as a collective. What are we doing to draw more people in and help us aggregate and build our power? So I particularly feel that I have a measure of privilege in that capacity as a mother, because mothers understand self-denial. We know that we have no option to give in to despair. We owe our children a more just world. I cannot allow my anxieties to take precedence over doing right by my children. And I would say none of us can allow our anxieties to take precedence over doing right by the community here. Hope in these times is a discipline, right? It's not a feeling. It's not something that we just lean into when it's convenient to us or it feels good. We need to be unflappable in this moment in history. Not that we can't have doubts, not that we can't feel overwhelmed, not that we can't be human beings. We need to be unflappable in this moment in history. Not that we can't have our feelings, not that we can't feel anxiety, not that we can't be very, very much human. But feelings aren't facts. Our feelings do not have to drive our behavior. We have a responsibility not to weaponize our feelings. We have a responsibility to deal with our feelings in a healthy way, especially right now when stakes are so high and everybody's emotions are like up here, right under the surface all the time. And I want to conclude here by saying this quote from Mr. Rogers, it's actually from his mother, is always applicable. Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. If you're having a hard time shutting down doomer talk, turn away from the Trumper propaganda. It's meant to demoralize you, and start looking for the helpers. The freedom-loving communities are resisting. We are everywhere.